Alright guys, I'm going to do a quick demonstration, a little bit about UV mapping. There was a little request about how to UV map is the plain box, and I'm going to hopefully give you a little insight on how to do it in Fragmotion. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to create a box, and let me see here, height will go 20 by 20 by 20. We won't add any segments to it. Go down here and execute, and now we have a box. Alright, now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start setting up my texture and material. I'm going to leave it all selected. Now what I'm going to do is go over to texture. Alright, and right mouse click up here, and I want a new texture. Again, right click on this checkerboard, and I'm going to open a texture. Now what I did in I did it in GIMP, I created a 1024 by 1024 just plain white background, and that's what I'm going to use because it's nice and clean, and we'll put our UV mesh up against that. So I'm going to go here and open that. Now there's my texture. Now again, I'm going to right mouse click, and I'm going to create a material using this texture. So there you go. Now I'm going to go back to the model, and you'll see down here that it now created a material. So I'm going to click on that, right click, and just so I know what it is, I'm going to go to rename, and I'm going to name it white, and click enter. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go up here to texture. Alright, and I'm going to assign a material because we created that material named white, and you'll see that it has listed here. I'm going to click on white and click OK. So now it has now assigned it to there. Alright, now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go up to texture, and I'm going to use UV mapper. So I have UV mapper, and you can see that it's already UV mapped because it's a standard box. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go down, it says no texture. I'm actually going to bring up texture, and that was white. I could have renamed this texture white, and it would show up there. So let's do that for the hell of it. Texture, right click, rename, white, enter, and I'm going to go back to texture, UV mapper, and I want the white, and you'll see it brings it in there. And since I'm using a white background texture and I want my lines to show up, I'm going to go back to view, I'm going to go to settings, I'm going to leave the canvas there. The lines, because by default are set to white, but if you left mouse click you can set it to anything you want, so hell, we'll set it to red. I'll go OK, apply, and done. Now if you select the hand, you can pan it, mouse wheel will scroll it out. Alright, now I'm going to go here just to change the UV mapping. I'm going to click on mapping, box, and I'm going to use, I'm going to come at it from the Z, positive Z. If you look up in here, you'll see the X, Y, and Z. The letters, that when you see it like that, you're coming from the positive end of it. So if I'm coming from Z, I'm going to project my box straight down that line. So I'll go positive Z, and you'll see that it reworked it. And now these are all selected. You see this box here. If you move around, wait, let me go over here to select UV triangles. Now when I come down, you'll see the 4 direction. Left mouse click, I'm going to bring it down. And I'm going to scale it like yay. And we can bring, if we want it to fill almost the whole image. Now a little quick note, I'm using version 1.3.4, and it seems to do a little, it seems to tuck everything up into the corner here, which I guess is fine, but the older versions didn't. Alright, so anyway, so now I have my box, it's all UV mapped. And I'm going to go up here to edit, and I want to create a material with outlines. Use texture as a background. I do want to do that because it'll show me exactly where my UV mesh is against. So I like to say yes. Alright, so now that we have that there, I'm going to get out of here. And I'm going to go to textures, and you'll see it's outlined image. I'm going to double click on it, and you'll see that it tucked, again, it tucked it all up into the corner. I'm not exactly sure why, if that's a bug, if that's done on purpose. But there it is, and that's our UV map of our box. Now we're going to close that out. I'm going to again, no, I'm just going to rename this here. And I'm just going to call it box UV. Enter. And again, I'm going to right mouse click button on it. And I want to save texture as. And I'm going to save it out. Shoot. Box UV, and you could change, by default it's Windows bitmap 32-bit. You have all your selections there. You can save it as all those, but we'll just keep it as the bump, and I'm going to save it to my desktop. Save. And now let's shrink this down. Move my Cam Studio, and you'll see the box UV bump. And you'll see that it saved it out. Now you can open this image up in any image editing software. I tend to use GIMP. You have Paint.net, you have Photoshop, all of those. And then you apply your texture onto there. Alright. So it's pretty simple, and then once you create your texture, you can come back and apply your texture to the box. I might do that later on, how to show that. I might do a little tutorial for that. But anyway, so it's pretty simple. Seems like a lot of steps, and there is, but once you get used to it, it actually goes pretty quick. So this is just a real quick tutorial in Fragmotion, how to UV map a box using the UV mapper. Alright guys, again, you'll see here that I'm using Cam Studio, free open source. Great plugin there. Alright guys, this is Joe. And again, thanks for watching.